So welcome everybody to November 2022 Southall Community Forum. My name is Sufyan, I'm the acting chair. Now to open this forum, I want to have an open discussion to start off with about the local policing issue, which has come to light over the last couple of weeks. Even with myself, I would like to mention the Metropolitan Police just briefly on this. So the Metropolitan Police in Southall, I've got one word for them: corrupt. Let me elaborate. So I was doing some youth work in the area with a company. We just do street-based youth work. Now, I was speaking to a lot of the youth who are, I would say, I don't want to use the word troubled, but that's the word I'm going to use because I can't think of another word to put. The youth who have been misled is the word I'm going to use, misled. The youth who unfortunately have led a life of crime from the age of 13, as young as 13. That's quite concerning to me. I spoke to a 16-year-old the other week. I said to him, "What's your name?" He gave me a fake name. I said to him, "Don't worry, I'm not part of the police. What's your real name?" He goes, "I don't go by my real name anymore because I don't have a family. I've been on the streets for the last 2 years, in and out of social services and this." So I asked him the question. I said to him, "How would your life be different if you were to be brought up in a more affluent part of the country?" He said, "My parents are separated. I don't have a network at home, so like a mother and a father and a supportive family. So unfortunately, I dropped out of school when I was 13. Well, he got expelled. And he's never known what to do because he's been in rehabilitation. He's been going to, what's the word, Andrew? You're a teacher. What's the word for these some centres what you go to?
Community service?
No, do you know when you get kicked out of school and then you go into services like a centre instead of a school, not a mainstream school?
Oh, but alternative provision.
Yeah, so he was in that alternative provision. And he's been in there. He doesn't attend. He's 16. At the age of 16, you start your GCSEs. I think, Arjun, you might need to correct me here. 16, you do your GCSEs.
Well, 14 is when you choose your GCSEs. You start officially learning them at 15 in year 10.
Yeah, so 16s you actually take them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's how it shows I'm not that young anymore. That's about 5 years ago for me now. Bloody hell. But yeah, so the youth nowadays in Southall, not going to say all youth because there are the good of us. Under 24, there are good ones out there. But I will say about 60% of the youth in Southall have been neglected, have been not heard. They're not important to the council. They're not important to the people in authority. The authorities only want to know the youth when it's too late. They only want to know the youth when they get arrested. But even then, when they go into these young institutions, into young offenders and this, it's a never-ending cycle. Me, myself, talking from personal experience, one of my close mates from high school, very close until a couple of years ago, we parted ways because of this exact reason. From the age of 16, he's been in and out of young offenders. He's now serving 7.5 years inside. This was a guy I used to sit next to in class. A guy who had the same education as me, same opportunities. It's the reason because I had a support network, he didn't. And that is not an excuse though. For people to end up in a never-ending cycle of crime, drugs, even fraud in certain cases, that never-ending cycle to make money, it's not on. And the council, the police, all our services across the board need to have a hard look in the mirror and say, right, this is how we can support the youth, because they nearly shut down the Yak. Very close. There was campaigners like myself, Angela Fonzo, Joe Bangu, and many others behind the scenes who made sure we campaigned right to the last day to make sure that Yak stayed open, because we needed a youth service in Southall, and we fought for it. Like we fought for the town hall, like we fought for the Dominion Centre, like we're fighting this campaign at Clean Air for Southern Hayes. We fight. That's the way we're brought up in Southall. Since the 70s, they've been fighting the National Front, the racism, the far right. You've got a whole load of history talking from the 70s. That's as far back as I know. Before that, probably there's things, but I can't talk because obviously I've only known from the time of Gurdeep Singh Chagga and Blair Peach. That's as far back as Southall I sort of looked into. But that's what it shows you. The youth from the 70s weren't listened to. Now the campaigners are still running today. People like J.S. Bangu and many others across the board. From the 70s, they put their voice heard. When they were, I think Joe must have been about 10, 15, younger than me, younger than you, Arjun. But it just shows you the youth in Southall do not give up, and the police need to start listening and giving the youth the opportunities they deserve. And they not deserve, they actually, it's not they need it, they should have them in place. Because the Metropolitan Police, like advertising, we're recruiting police officers. You can't work for the police if you've got a criminal record. You can't work for the police if you've got a single caution on your record. Now, me, myself, I've never been cautioned by the police. I've never been arrested. But I've applied for a job with the police. But when I applied, I read about the enhanced DBS and all this. Enhanced DBS I've got anyway because of the work I do. But the level of actual security you've got to have to work for the police, obviously, because you've got access to a lot of data, is actually crazy. And the youth nowadays in Southall, a single caution on your record could mess your whole life up. And if any youth are watching this on YouTube, take it from me, it's not easy. It's not easy because every other person, 3 in 5 youngsters smoke cannabis before their first GCSE exam. 60% of youngsters in this country have smoked cannabis, which is a Class B drug, before their first GCSE exam. 2 in 5 youngsters carry a knife or some form of weapon. These figures don't lie. This is also Office for National Statistics figures. Now, that's on that. Now, I'm just going to briefly touch on traffic and then I'll open up the floor. Cool. Now, let's talk about the traffic in Southall. It's an issue been going on for the last 4 years, I would say. But it's been going on longer, but the last 4 years predominantly, I would say. Recently, I've been up and down the country for various reasons. So I've been in Manchester, I've been to Nottingham, I've been to Birmingham. I remember I was sitting in a taxi. I got on in Manchester Piccadilly. I did 15 miles down that road, well, in the taxi, within about 25 minutes. 25 minutes. This was city centre, 15 miles in 25 minutes. Put that into perspective. In 25 minutes in Southall, you won't get from your street to the end of your street. What is the reason? Because the traffic is absolutely mental. Number one, the roadworks. I've spoken to numerous number of road workers, what do you call them? Engineers and maintenance people. I've spoken to them. I said, are these roadworks urgent or emergency? No, they're just routine. You've got the fiber optic companies. I spoke to Angela today about one. You've got fiber optic companies coming in, Hey Broadband, and there's another one which I can't remember the name of. You've got these companies coming in saying, oh, we're putting fiber optic in. Okay, great. Put fiber optic on, but you're blocking our streets with your vans, your lorries, your... Cool, we know we need the work done, but it needs to be done systematically and in an order where it doesn't disrupt the whole of Southall by doing one road. Because the Glassy Junction, so near the Gurdwara, the cross junction where South Road meets Merrick Road and all of that, that whole thing doesn't need to be happening. I think there's only been about 2 weeks in the last 3 years I've not seen any roadworks on that road. Out of 104 weeks, I think 2 weeks has been just clear. And when I say clear, the traffic's still there, but the roadworks. It's dangerous, it's creating a hazard, and it's creating congestion. Bus drivers have to terminate early. Today I was sitting on the E5 going from the Green to Golf Links Estate. This journey, Arjun, you probably know this, about what, 15, 20 stops, roughly?
So, sorry, can I just cut in? Yeah, so E5 from about, let's say, from where did you board? Was it the Green? So from there, yeah. So from there, from about Golf Links Estate, should take 15 minutes maximum.
15 minutes. Took me nearly 45 minutes, Arjun.
Yeah, no, because last time I went to Golf Links Estate, or it was actually down to Dormers Wales as well. I mean, because I had to, you know, I was on my way home, Greenford, no 92 to take me to Ealing. So I thought, okay, I'll get the E5, then change for a 105. And even just waiting in around Dormers Wales was a nightmare because I like a 45-minute wait for even for a route that's supposed to run every 10 minutes at a high, which is supposed to be, let's say, an air quotes high frequency, turned out to be a 45-minute wait. Yeah. And now,
but which bus, Arjun?
105. 105.
That's
I messaged you about that on Twitter. Do you know that the fact that I was waiting in Cranford for about an hour? I messaged you about that on Twitter.
Yeah,
but
totally unacceptable. And this was in the daytime, not at night time.
Well, it turned from day to night because it only happened around about the week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So yeah. What I'm going to do once the things start talking, I'll touch more on the transport side of things.
Yeah. So the transport all right, TfL, they've got all these incentives out there. You've got the one, was it 165 now for unlimited bus rides an hour, something like that. Cool. That's all well and good. Now I work where I'm staying right now to the clinic I work at is around about a 25-minute walk. Yep, it's 1.2 miles. I walked it the other day because the buses were on strike, which is fair enough. Bus drivers want a pay rise, they strike. Fair enough.
More coming up. There's more coming up.
Yeah, so, I know, Arjun, and I'm not looking forward to the walks.
And it's not one company, it's two, so it's going to be even worse.
So I was walking, and it took me about 27 minutes exactly, because I have to clock in and clock out on my commute home. So it took me 27 minutes. I then got the bus the next day. It took me, because I have to get the E5 and then the 105, it took me 40 minutes, which is a 1.2 mile journey. I have to get the E5 from Golf Links to Telford, then the 105, 4 stops or 5 stops. The bus networks are absolutely shambolic. I've spoken to numerous numbers of drivers from Abellio, Metroline, is it RAPT? We don't know the name of the company.
I've spoken to numerous amount of drivers on
they're all
Abellio and Metroline, just those two companies specifically. All the 105 drivers. They what they're doing is they're finishing like 37 minutes later, and they're going over their allocated time. And I was talking to a 120 driver today. I was in Hounslow, and he goes to me, "I'm 45 minutes behind schedule." So I go to him, "What happens to this route?" He goes, "Oh no, we just skip this one. We drive back to Northolt, and you wait for the next one." So we're waiting over at a bus station where it says every 13 minutes on the little board, but I used the bus times. That I couldn't see no buses on there. So I asked one of the drivers who was sitting there. He goes, "Yeah, I'm about 45 minutes late to pick up the bus." I said to him, "What do you mean you're 45 minutes late?" He goes, "The bus hasn't come. There's too much traffic." So you know what they also do, because they've got a garage based in Lambton, which is so stupid. They take the buses out of service to the garage, and then the driver meets the bus there and takes it out, and that itself causes about 5-minute delay.
Yeah. So Sadiq Khan, who is still the mayor of London for some goddamn reason, has all these ideas to expand ULEZ to the whole of London and all these major ideas.
how is that going to reduce traffic? Because even if you go into central London right now, it's chock-a-block. Sadiq Khan needs to reevaluate his plans. Now, politically, I don't stand anywhere right now, but I remember in the last mayoral elections what Sean Bailey said, the Conservative candidate, about ULEZ. And it really woke me up to how Sadiq Khan's running, because if it's costing you £12.50 just to put the car out on the road every single day, yep, let's do that. Let's do a rough calculation of how much it's going to cost you just to drive your car without any fuel cost, with inflation rates going sky high. I'm pretty sure everyone's been hit with inflation as hard as, well, not as hard as I've been, but pretty hard. That's £12.50 times 7. Yep. That's £87.50 a week. Times that by 52. That's £4,550 an annum. You will be spending, not to drive anywhere fancy, down the road to the Broadway, or to, for example, in my case, say to and from work, which is about, as I said, a mile away. £4,550. That's not including your fuel. That's not including your insurance. That ain't including nothing. That's for you to sit in your car and drive even 10 meters down the road. Now, I get the idea to reduce the number of carbon emissions and whatnot, go net carbon zero by 2030. All these ideas were great, but respectfully, global warming's been happening for the last 120 years. Only now it's got that bad where they've come up with all these drastic plans like they did during COVID. They made some drastic plans. And what happened? It went pear-shaped. Because it's all well and good saying, yeah, we can drive 0 cars on the road. But that's not feasible. That's not reasonable either. They're saying drive electric cars. To buy even a cheap electric car, you're paying nearly £17,000. If you've got a 2011 car, which many people do, I've seen a lot of cars, 2011, 2012, 2013, all the 2015, a lot of 2015 plates. These cars, they're not sports cars. They're just runarounds to get them from A to B. Yeah, you got a car enthusiast who spends thousands on their cars. Yeah, but those people have that money. Everyday, well, I'm gonna say Joeys, everyday Joeys don't have several thousands of pounds, £4,550 to be precise, to just drive around their local town. And they're not driving for no reason. They drive with a purpose, whether it's to commute to and from work, whether it's to get kids from school, pick them up. I get it. You want people to go on buses. The buses aren't safe. I don't know about how many people have been questioned on a bus or been stopped on a bus. Not by police, by the way, by other members of the public. Me, myself, on the 427 about 6 weeks ago, 4 Romanian gypsies came up to me. CCTV's on the bus, bear in mind. They jumped on the bus from the back, number one. I was sitting downstairs. So these guys came and sat next to me. I felt uncomfortable, so I went upstairs. These guys followed me. And they started to shout and use very vile language. So I went downstairs. I told the bus driver, I was like, driver, the guys upstairs, they're creating some hassle. Can you get them off the bus, or can you inform the BTP, which is the British Transport Police, as the protocol is in a bus driver's handbook, by the way, which I've read.
Sofian, the BTP do not control the bus network. They're the only ones who do the trains. The drivers have to drive for buses. The Met actually deal with them, not the BTP.
Okay, so the Met, okay,
Yeah.
right. So the Met then, and that's even worse, because the BTP is British Transport. So I think that would be specialized. But cool, correction, Odger knows it's the Met. So the Metropolitan Police, Acton Police Station. I was on Uxbridge Road by a chippy. I can't remember the name of the chippy. I got off the bus there. I dialed the police. Told them these guys have just threatened me and been very violent, because they tried to get physical on the bus. So I gave them the route, gave them everything. They go, oh, yeah, an officer would be in touch with you within 24 hours. To this day, I'm waiting for a phone call. What does that show you? They don't have time. Yes, they're underfunded. Yes, their lack of resources. But if you've got picture evidence, you've got the CCTV, you've got times, you've got dates, why can't crimes be solved? And this is where I'm going to say it, where do our taxes go? Because at the end of the day, everybody who works, everybody who's ever, or anyone's parents who works, if you're under the age of 16 and if you can't work, pays national insurance, pays your taxes. They fund people like me who work for the NHS. We still pay taxes, but our funding comes from taxes and obviously central government. Where do our taxes go? I've asked this question, and I spoke to Verinder Sharma about this briefly on the street the other day. He goes, it's one of those things. It's not one of those things. You need to sort it, because I will turn around and say, well, why should I pay tax? I know why I have to pay tax, because you're doing tax evasion. But believe you me, in other parts in the world where they don't pay tax, i.e. Dubai and things like that, crime is so low. Crime is very low. That's because they've got procedures and policies in place to ensure crime is low. The UK has one of the strictest laws in the Western world. Yeah. I read a lot about the law. Everything you do, any minor thing you do, you can either get a conviction or what? Minor things, from speeding to anything. Yep. But yet major crimes aren't solved. But the police are more worried about, oh, they're having a party next door, let's go around there. Within the 3 hours of that party, oh, you're having a party, keep the noise down. Okay, we'll keep the noise down. And then they're back the next day. But when there's people getting stabbed left, right, and center, because by the way, there's been a lot of stabbings, which are still unresolved to date. Yep. And I'm very, very close with a few barristers. There are murder cases outstanding from 2019. Families haven't been given justice because of what? Because of what? Funding. Well, I'm sorry. The government, our local MP, our local councillors, anyone in local politics needs to get on this. Because people like John MacDonald, Seema, forgot her surname, who's the MP of Hounslow, Tandesi in Slough, these people actually speak up about this. And I've got very much respect for Mr. Tan in Slough, very much respect. Yes, he's a Labour. Yes, obviously we've got different political views, but he speaks up. And he doesn't just represent one culture or one little section of humans. He represents everyone. And that's what I admire about him. Whereas our MP in Southall, he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to know me. He doesn't want to know our campaign. He doesn't want to know people who actually question him, because he's got that ego about him. Now, I'm sorry, if you're in local politics, you can't have ego. Take it from me. I ran in the local election. I got sworn out on doorsteps. I got all sorts. Oh, we only support Labour. I said, okay, give me 5 reasons why you're going to vote Labour this time. Oh, because that's what we've been told. Oh, what was another one? Oh, my uncle's a councillor. I know the councillor. The councillor did this for me, and the councillor does that for me. Okay. So you want to vote someone in because they do something for you. What about your neighbours? Have they done anything for them? Did they support you when you're being poisoned in the air? Did they support you when they tried to close down your local centres? Did they stand there with you on your doors when you had issues? Or was it local people like myself, like other members? I'm not just saying the Ealing Independent Network, I'm saying across the board, including Conservative councillors who ran this year. I've got very much respect for them, very much. To stand against a major party, including myself, it was a big move I made. But people like Mr. Khan from the Conservative Party, very much respect, because he stood there and I saw him door knocking And I saw what he was saying. He was speaking the absolute truth. Yes, he's a conservative. Yes, I don't stand with the Conservatives. But what he was saying was absolutely facts. And that was, we need to hold Labour accountable. And that's what I said. I was watching a video back actually earlier on today from back in November last year when we announced we were standing. We said one thing very clearly: vote for change and make a change this year. Unfortunately, the change wasn't made, and we're still in the same predicament with that, with everything. But again, I'm going to say it to everybody: change won't happen unless we make it happen. Yep. In the 70s, in the 80s, the suffragettes, things like that, they came about to get rights, to make a change, to make a difference, and they got those things because it's people power. Yes, we got over 1,000 plus votes in the whole borough, but we needed more, because obviously Labour is a massive party. They've got the funding, they've got all this. But I don't want to make this political, but all I'm saying is that there needs to be change, because without change, this area is just going to go deteriorating, because it has deteriorated.
Sophia, can we bring Arjun in? Because I think you probably want to talk about issues that are close to your heart.
Yeah, go for it, Arjun.
Possibly transport, but I don't want to second guess.
Yeah, it's mostly transport based. Buses wise, I've been having lots of issues, especially when it comes to London Borough Ealing wide. So especially when it 105, especially 482, 120. So basically routes operated by Metro Line, Abellio. These two are a couple of routes, and London United. These are the three people that operate routes a lot around Southall, and Ealing especially. And what I've noticed is the Southall's going to be completely empty this Thursday, this Friday, because of strikes. No buses. They're going to have very, very, very limited services. Routes like H32 and 105 will be extremely busy to the core, to the point I can't go to my place of education for 2 days.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. How are you going to get to college?
I'm not going to get to college. I can't, because there'll be no 120. There's going to be no 482. There's going to be no 195. No 427, no 607, no nothing for me to have access to, for me to get to college. And I had a meeting yesterday at my college with the senior executive team. So that included our college principal, the executive director, and the vice principal. And I kind of explained, how are we going to do this? And they said, well, come in. I'm like, but how can we come in? Yeah, they wouldn't give me an explanation. And also some students who we have mock exams this week. How are we going to come in for that? It's ridiculous. Then they're going to plan everything last minute and say, well, hi everybody, please make sure you do this as per college. That's what they always do. They always do things last minute.
And then presumably, obviously I know you can't get in, but there might be some people who will use their cars or give their sons and daughters lifts. So there's going to be more traffic on the road, more cars, more vehicles. And I know when the weather's bad, Arjun, because I travel to West Thames College, it can take me easily 40-45 minutes.
That's what it should take me normally with two buses, because from here Southall is, let's say, 40 minutes, then go on the H32 and then it's 5 minutes on the E8 for me to get to the Isleworth campus. At the moment it's taking me an hour. And even yesterday was an example of traffic. I was on the H32 bus yesterday, and all of a sudden, like my mother, she leaves work really early in the morning, 6:30. There shouldn't be any traffic at that time in the morning. And then she says to me, on my way to work this morning at 6:30, there's a lot of traffic. And it's been going on throughout the day. All day yesterday, there was traffic. And I tried to figure out why. Is there any roadworks? No. I went up to where the Costco is. No, there's none there. I went up to the Park Avenue. No, there's no traffic. Why? Why is there all this traffic? Where's all this traffic coming from?
But Arjun, I tell you, when it's particularly bad, I was at Tesco, Ballsbridge Tesco on Sunday, and I arrived, I'm just trying to think, probably about 11:15. Spent about an hour shopping.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it took to exit the car park? And this was around about 12:15.
Let me guess, about an hour and a half or something like that.
Not quite, but about 20 minutes. But that's ridiculous. Just queuing in the car park to get onto Hayes Road, a good 20 minutes.
You know, it's also congestion.
I know, obviously, you've got the
because
home bargains,
and the
Western
Lidl,
Industrial Market is
and
open
the
to the public.
Lidl as well. So it's
um,
all the congestion that's building up from there, with cars and vehicles coming out, and that's also is also causing severe transport issues, because what I've noticed is, Sufyan, this kind of comes to you, and what you were saying about your wait at Telford for quite a long time. Because these companies, as I said in the last meeting, Angela, the companies are.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, I don't know why I went on mute. So sorry. What I was trying to say was, the companies that run the routes are contracted out to TfL 5 years and all that stuff, and they're paid to run routes. So whenever they cut one short, so to, let's say 105 goes from Heathrow to Greenford, if they cut one short at, let's say, the Town Hall.
Sorry, Arjun. Sorry, and I'm just gonna have to shoot. But
Yeah.
I'll touch base with you tomorrow about the meeting. Yeah.
Yeah,
take
thanks for
care, everyone.
joining.
Bye,
Appreciate
Sophie.
it.
Yeah.
I'll see
All
you
right,
next
take
year.
care. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cheers, Sophia.
Bye.
So yeah, so as I said, they're contracted by TfL and all that. They're paid to run the route from A to B, and if they have no choice but to tell them on how late they are, they're gonna have to. They're gonna get fined for it. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So
But it's absolutely frustrating when you get on a bus and it tells you your destination. I got a bus, I think yes, 195 one day, and I thought, great, it's going to take me all the way to Durley Road, where I need to disembark, and the bus terminated at Lidl. No reason given. It was just so frustrating. In the middle of the day, you're thinking, well, why is this bus terminated here? Because obviously, the driver was told by the controller, to terminate the route. But this seems to be quite a common occurrence. I was on a bus, not in Southall this time. I was in Richmond with a friend. It was Friday evening, rush hour, somewhere between 5 and 6. And we got on the bus in Richmond. We wanted to go all the way to the nearest bus stop to her house.
Mhm.
But again, this bus terminated somewhere in Twickenham.
I think I know the one you're on about. I think it's the R68. I think you got, wasn't it? R68?
No, it wasn't R68. I'm really sorry, I can't remember the
that's
number.
all right. Never mind.
But anyway, because it was the time of day, people caught the bus who were going home from work, and one passenger was very irate and said to the driver, well, why did you let passenger on in Richmond if you were going to terminate, just part way through the journey? Yeah, then we all had to get off the bus, and the bus drove off, and we waited probably about 10 minutes for the next bus. But as you can imagine, in the winter time, when it's cold, it's damp, and people are tired, they just want to get home, it is an added frustration, which is kind of like a disincentive to using public transport.
That's what the mayor.
But it is an irritation, like you say, all the delays, the terminations. It could be a lot better.
That's what the mayor's trying to do. He's trying to get everybody to come off their cars and go on public transport, but by extending the ULEZ London ride. But that's not going to get everybody to come out of their car.
Oh, definitely.
It's not going to get everybody to come out of their car. It's like it's just going to make more people buy even more cars and put them on the road.
Yeah, people like the convenience of their cars. But I tell you, I mean, I caught a bus. Again, it's 195. Worked in Brentford at the time, and my start time was 8:30. I had to leave home at 7 o'clock, and I only just got to work for 8:30. You know, sort of like a short walk to Western Road, then I caught the 195 and then a short walk the other end. But the bus was slow, you know, it was overcrowded. And I'll be honest with you, I couldn't spend an hour and a half every day to travel about 5 miles.
That's why I don't use the 195. So, because I don't like crowded spaces, my anxiety rises up to the most limited point, like boiling point. So I avoid using single decker bus routes as much as I can, unless it's necessary. So especially around South, like we've got E5 and the 195, I just avoid it.
I don't blame you.
So so I the only routes I use the most at the moment are routes 105. What else do I use? H32, 482, 120. And so I use those routes the most because one, there's the double decker, and two, there's more space because I have the chance to go up a flight of stairs to the upper deck. But as another problem is 120 itself is awful between the hours of, let's say, 2:30 till 5 o'clock.
Is that from Norfolk to Hounslow?
Yeah. So I get up to King Street from Hounslow. And today, we had a faulty bus, which then the driver managed to fix and got it on to get repaired. But it took him 15 minutes, and we got curtailed. And the next one was already full, and they couldn't take in any passengers.
Oh, and that's an absolute frustration when you're tired. You just want to get home, and it was cold today. I think it was about 5 degrees.
Like now, I'm kind of shaking a little bit. You can't see it, but I'm shaking. So my hands on my thing, like on my neck, like this.
Awful.
And
you know, what about the elderly and the disabled?
Thankfully, it was it was all like young people. We kind of had some consideration that the elderly got on the packed bus, but because it had some free seats, so we just let them get on. But it was like a 15-minute wait for the next one in Heston.
Crazy.
Because and like I said before, 120 to drive the company Metro line, which is stupid. They take the bus out of service, take it back to the garage. The driver meets the bus in the garage and takes it back out again. By the time that's done and the driver checks the bus, it's about 15-20 minutes wasted. And that time could have been used, bring the bus out.
Yeah. It's not notoriously bad, isn't it? The 120. I remember my mum used to live in Norfolk.
Yeah.
And you know, it used to take her about 2 hours from Norfolk to Southall. It was ridiculous.
That's why I used
to drop her home, Arjun, after she'd been to visit.
Because now that's why I use the alternative method routes, and I disclose for everybody. We haven't got just buses because everybody seems to be using buses. We also got the Elizabeth line. We also have the Central and District lines. We have the Bakerloo. We got the Hammersmith and City and Circle lines. We need to make use of those lines as well. You know, especially if you want to go to Central London, like White City, instead of spending a long time on the bus, hop on the Central line, for goodness sake. It's only 2 stops. Yes.
Going to White City.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Have you been on the Elizabeth line yet?
Yes, I've done the whole line from.
Have you?
Yeah, I've done the whole thing. So it's lovely, but it's expensive. Yeah. But it's expensive because I had to go to Custom House. To the Cllr Exhibition Centre on Friday and Saturday because I do some student ambassador work for my college, and so I was with the marketing team from West Thames College on 2 days, just showcasing colleges and event. Anyway, just getting there was really long. From Southall, it's about an hour
to Custom House.
The Custom House. And then it's about a 5-10 minute walk to the Cllr Exhibition Centre.
Do you know how much a return ticket is?
It's £3.20 each way. So once you enter
each way, £6.40.
So it's £6.40, and I did that twice. So it cost me £12 just to travel there and back. thankfully, which
oh,
the marketing team reimbursed.
paid for.
Yeah, they reimbursed me back.
That's a lot, I mean, a lot of money, isn't it? And I think I am looking at the cost of living, and it's not that often I need to make a journey into central London. I will do on Friday morning, but that's an exception to the rule. But simply, you know, we are on below average salaries in Southall, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So we're more likely to use buses to travel, you know, to our jobs at the airport and so on. And, you know, when I treat my family to Westfield for some shopping, we actually catch the bus. And I take advantage of the fact that because my girls are under 16, it's free. You know, they've got their zip cards.
Even for them.
And it's cheaper for me to catch the bus than catch a bus and the train from Southall Broadway.
Yeah.
Sorry, not from Southall, from, you know, Southall train station.
Yeah.
But you know, the buses have to be better for, you know, because I see sometimes like elderly people waiting. And this was when they were doing all the roadworks on South Road. And it was just ridiculous to see how long they were waiting for a bus.
You know, they're doing the roadworks.
Yeah,
they're doing the roadworks nightly now, from 9 until 6 in the morning, which is a bit inconvenient because my grandma, she's 82, but she still likes to keep herself active.
Yeah.
So she goes to Park Avenue Gurdwara at about 3 o'clock in the morning every day and comes home at 6. So she's really, and she still does that now. But yeah, it's just really.
So she's inconvenienced. Getting home. Yeah. I don't know how much longer it's going on. Actually, what might be helpful, there was somebody else who attended our very last forum, and he's actually got some feedback to do with road and transport issues.
Yeah.
And do you remember we talked about the road that links South Road with Pump Lane?
Yeah.
So this is the Eastern Access Link Road, and the feedback he got: it cannot be opened until the works are signed off and outstanding matters, including items such as street lighting, carriage surfacing and footways not being in compliance with Ealing Highway standards are resolved. The work should be signed off soon, but the matter is still pending. But I don't know if this is still the same road. He said the Bridge Link Road isn't due to open yet. It's an unadopted road. So I'm assuming that's the road that connects South Road with Pump Lane. Anyway, he says it's going to cost the council £2 million to bring it into their remit.
You know why? That's why they don't want to spend the £2 million to open it. That's why they keep on, you know, delaying the opening thing, because they don't want to spend that money on improving this place. It's just like, why just open it, for God's sake?
Yeah, but then, you know, surely it would help to relieve the pressure on Western Road and the Uxbridge Road, yeah?
Yeah. So
exactly. That would be the most logical route if you want to go to Hayes or access the A312 and the M4 rather than this really narrow, congested road called Western Road. Yeah. Which is
do you know, as you might have noticed, I live on Greenland Crescent, so I'm like opposite the as well, not right opposite, like right near it. Even during the
Brent Road end.
I'm in Greenland Crescent, so as you come off the Dirty Road past the Prince of Wales pub, I'm behind it. Yeah. So okay. I'm on the Greenland Crescent side, the side with Emerald Square. Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, so I'm down there. And my whole family's literally, we're all based down the same street mainly, so we all kind of come together and just have like a chat, and you know, and we were just kind of having like a discussion about Southall in general. And my aunt, she drives here all the way from Slough every Sunday to come see us. And what normally should take her a 25-minute journey down the M4 from Slough, it takes her an extra sometimes half an hour. Yeah, because, I can believe that. Yeah, because she gets stuck in traffic outside on the Hayes Road, near the Bills Bridge. Yeah. Let's go. It's chock-a-block, you know, but, you know,
why not open that road and help to relieve the congestion on
The
Western
thing is-
Road and
thing
the
is-
Uxbridge Road? You know,
Yeah,
it's
it
just
should- and
crazy.
then it should help the congestion on the Hayes Road.
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
Tesco as well.
Yeah, but I'll just add on to what's been said. Another reason, the developers don't want anyone to use it until they finish the gasworks. So lots of discussion back and forth. But the gasworks, when it started, I think was you know, meters being something like a 20-25 year project. So it's just ridiculous.
But then it's not going to
The
open
road-
20-25.
it's finished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's finished, and it's going to take 20-25 minutes. Sorry, I'm losing my mind sometimes. 25 years.
Yeah.
So what's the point of even building that road then?
It just seems to be a road that is used by the building contractors and Berkeley Group employees
Yeah.
as a private road.
And you know, we have the Southall Waterside residents as well, like the residential area called Southall Waterside, right opposite the station. When is that going to open? Because I spoke to Sharma about it. He said it's going to open by the end of June, by the end of this day. Come June.
Are you talking about the properties? Because people have already moved.
The properties, you know, the road to the road that on. Do you know as you go on over the South Road Bridge?
Yeah.
And then past the station, and you got like that little area that kind of.
Yeah, that's the road I'm talking about.
Is that
that's
the one?
Yeah, that's the road. Yeah. And you've got planters. You know, there's planters.
Yeah, the big planters with like Southall Waterside on it.
Yeah. But you know, the whole area there is a bit of a mess. You've got traffic cones, and I just think it just is crazy, really.
Yes.
And then resurfacing works. I was there, I think it was last week, and the bus stop was closed. The first one you get to on South Road when you turn left from the Uxbridge Road. So obviously all to do with the resurfacing that, you know, has inconvenienced your grandmother. But I don't know, I'd be interested to hear your view on this. There is a plan to extend the CPZ, you know, CPZ's Controlled Parking Zone V onto Sussex Road, Balfour Road, Caxton Road, but not Western Road.
Yeah, no,
I don't think that's going to make any difference.
No, that's not going to make any difference.
Because Sussex Road is back to back with vehicles.
Oh,
Balfour Road back to back.
It's just going to.
It's money making, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just going. It's just going to make residential streets even more packed, where people are going to visit the areas. It's just bad. It's just bad. No,
I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. And I think my understanding is when they did a consultation a few years ago, the vast majority didn't want it.
No.
And I'm really sort of frustrated. And I think the people who live on these roads, they're going to be disappointed because they'll pay for the privilege of parking on their road and they won't be able to get space nearby. I don't think it will change the situation whatsoever. You also have, I don't know if you know, I've forgotten the name of the road now. Not Balfour Road, not Spencer Street, Johnson Street, sorry. Well, I've got brain fog at the moment. There are garages along there. So you've got cars that are parked, not just resident cars, but cars that are waiting, you know, for servicing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess it is a bit of a frustration. I mean, I'm sort of like conflicted about it because yes, it is an inconvenience that residents can't find parking, but at the same time, these garages need work, you know, they need business, you know, they need to work like everybody else.
Yeah, but not only that, it's not only that, we've got the Scotsman pub right next to it.
Oh, that's a frustration of mine at the moment.
That's a big frustration because
they park on the pavement there. Have you noticed?
Yeah, and also on Durley Road, we got people parking on the pavement with double yellow lines.
Yeah, because I noticed on social media that there seems to be some sort of clampdown by the council on, you know, illegal parking, but they only seem to be interested in the Broadway. They don't seem to be interested in places where you've got double yellow lines, like Caxton Road outside of the Scotsman pub. And I turn left, and it is a hindrance that so many vehicles are parked up either on the pavement or on the double yellow lines, and you know, there's no traffic wardens around.
That's because that's one thing I kind of raised up to Sharma when I last met him, which was, when was the last time I actually met him? I think it was ages ago now. I think, was it back towards the start of this year? I met Sharma. No, it was the Northfields meeting a couple of months ago, but I didn't mention it to him then. But it was the meeting before that, I believe, which was...
Oh, the one in St. John's Church?
Yes, that was the one. And and that's where I kind of mentioned it to him. Come, you're the MP. You have a walk around, come and see your residents, because they've got a lot to say. He said, yeah. And he hasn't come to Greenland Crescent, he hasn't come to Dirty Road, he hasn't been down the other end of Southall. He's always on the end of the Broadway, he's always out in Old Southall or New Southall. Old Southall. So, and he hasn't come to the old part of it, he's always in the new part. He doesn't care, he doesn't care for all his residents, he cares for, let's say, one half of it.
Yeah, probably people who are wealthy and affluent. But do you ever see Councillor Dinser? He lives on your road, but the other end towards Brent Road. Do you ever see him in the area? Councillor Dinser?
No. I've seen him in his car.
Councillor Anand?
No.
Shameful.
I've seen Councillor Dinser in his car.
Yeah. I saw him the other day, actually, on Durley Road, close to the junction with Brent Road. Sorry, no, with the junction of, Western Road. And I'm sure he saw me walking towards his car because he kind of like turned his head to look away from me. And I thought, well, that doesn't bother me. I was going to stop to say hello to you anyway, because you do nothing for the area. You know, you're not interested as long as you're okay. And I tell you what, again, is also disheartening. I wanted to go out on Sunday for a walk, but because there's so much fly tipping on the pavements, it puts me off. It's still a massive problem. I think it's got worse. I think Labour seemed to do a big clean-up in the run-up to the election in May, and it didn't seem too bad, sort of May, June, July, but now it's slid and become really bad again. But anyway, can I just return quickly to the notes that were shared with me? So the third point, lack of a bus stop opposite Southall Station. And I really feel for people who are elderly. Arjun, I can't hear you. I don't know, have you got a problem with your sound? You might need to check your sound.
Hello, can you hear me? Oh,
yeah, that's better. Yeah, because I can see you were talking, but couldn't hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but the bus stop, it says the bus stop remains in place at the south end of the bridge for southbound traffic. The bus stop on the other side, northbound, so I guess that's heading towards the Uxbridge Road, was removed to enable the new works to be implemented. But I think it's so bad, really, for older people that you either have to get off at Southall Green or get off at Park Avenue, you know, and not great if you've got mobility issues. And he says the council is due to start engagement on active travel and public transport measures very shortly, with design options coming next year. So this will include the layout of South Road and the junction with Merrick Road and South Road. You've probably seen that survey, and you've done the survey, I guess, Arjun. I don't know, Rashpal, if you've seen this transport survey that the council are circulating at the moment. And I'm on a site called Next Door Neighbours, and they're complaining that not that many people from South have filled it in.
Somebody sent to me the one on the Facebook.
Yeah.
And her name is Libby, I think. And,
Libby, yes, yeah.
I didn't fill it out because I didn't want it, the cycle. I don't like it, the cycle lanes. It will gonna cause more problems for the people, and they are introducing electric cars. What is I don't agreed with that.
Yeah.
So I didn't sign that one.
So I guess in essence, you don't feel that your views will be taken into account. And I think one of the issues I've got with these surveys, it's great if you were on Facebook, Rashpal, or on Twitter or on the council website, but a lot of residents aren't, yeah? And they don't have, you know, unlimited internet access. So they're only appealing to really a small minority.
Some people even don't know how to use the computers, you know, they just forcing things on them, like yourself. You tried so many things to sort out. You know, you written letters, we personally try to talk, and we try to call, but they don't leave any feedback, or they don't even respond to us, do they?
No, not at all. And it is an absolute frustration that, you know, they seem to be preoccupied with doing all these surveys. A lot of them seem to be quite biased, that they try and influence people to answer questions in a certain way. And as I said, yeah, Arjun, look forward to you joining again. Because there's still lots to talk about to do with transport. I'll still, you know, go through the notes that I've been given.
There are lots of, you know, sites, you know, they all mixed up, you know, you don't know who to, you know, who there are on the Facebook and all the, you know, apps, you know, Instagram, they're all messed up, you know, you don't know which is which, you know, you can't
exactly. You know. But Rashpal, there'll be a lot of, like you say, some people don't have computer skills. You know, let me give my mum as an example. You know, she's 82, 83. You know, she's not on the computer. She doesn't have a computer. How many elderly people who still want to have a voice and still want their views taken into account, who are not on the internet, you know, and Ealing Council seems to think, oh, tick box, job done, you know, we've engaged with the community.
Like my dad, he's not educated. I give you example. You know, we have to do everything for him, you know.
Yeah.
And he anything, you know, he can't do anything, you know, even like phoning or calling or using the phone, or you know, nothing. And it's too much for some time, you know. And they keep on sending him the letters, you know, and how can he, you know, read or write? He can't, don't know English or Punjab, our language, you know.
But Rashpal, how many people are in this situation like your fathers in Southall? There must be a lot of older residents whose voice is not being heard, and
like some of like disabled people and some of elderly, they can't you know, do things, you know, like other people do, and they need help, you know. They're not considering the public. They just I don't know what they are doing. They are just not listening to the people, and people not they should get together, you know, and raise their voice, and they should, you know, like listen to the people, you know. And I don't know why they're doing not much for the public.
But Rashpal, that brings us nicely onto the protest we had in late October outside of Southall Town Hall, where Southall Community Alliance hosted Cllr Peter Mason to present on the Southall Reset Plan. I think, you know, for me, hearing the elderly woman speak, and yourself, you spoke very eloquently about the reality of life in Southall. And I think, in all honesty, we should do more of these We don't have to call it protest. We don't have to call it demonstration. It could be, you know, an outdoor meeting where people can come and talk on the mic and express what they feel about life in Southall, which totally counteracts what Ealing Council wants to present, which is propaganda. Life is seriously tough, Rashpal. You know, we talked about the impact of buses on people who are earning very modest wages and they need to get to their jobs. And I know you talked about how stressful it was getting to your job because of the roadworks on Hayes Road back in September and how late it made you.
Yeah,
And yeah, you know,
Can you hear me, guys? Sorry.
yeah.
I just want to see if my audio is working. Because when I had to change from my PC to the laptop, and so because the audio stopped working on there, I got fault with the audio on my PC. So I had to quickly run up and come in my room. So sorry about the flashing light.
You're crystal clear. We can hear you. Yeah, Rashpal, can you hear Arjan?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Great,
we were just talking about Arjan, just to sort of, we've gone off the topic of traffic and transport at the moment. We were talking about how Ealing Council doesn't listen to ordinary residents in Southall. And Rashpal spoke very eloquently. There was a protest, and I've forgotten the date. It was late October, outside of Southall Town Hall. Southall Community Alliance.
Was it a month ago? Because this date exactly a month ago. It must have been.
I don't want to say, because I was going to check before the meeting, but I unfortunately didn't have time. But it was
It must have been.
It was an evening meeting, and Peter Mason was inside talking to a select audience who were invited to attend. And there are people outside, such as Rashpal, myself, Sufyan, Joe Bangu, an elderly resident, and others who were expressing views about life in Southall. So whether that was, you know, to do with the air pollution, or poverty, or being ignored by Labour, and the difficulties that we have with our lives in Southall. And I was saying to Rashpal, maybe we ought to be holding these meetings more regularly and just let residents speak on the microphone and just share their stories, share their testimonies, which totally counteracts the propaganda that Ealing Council puts out there. Do you think that's a good idea, Rashpal?
Yeah, I personally think we should have two.
Because you know, a lot of things we are facing now, like for instance, the fly tipping. You know, it's not livable. You know, Southall, I don't know, they are not doing much about it. You know, like there are lots of bin bags out there on the roads, and a lot of rubbish on the roads, and the floors. You know, the roads are very in bad condition. They need cleaning. You know, they used to do before with them. What it called, the, you know, like a, it was like a
street sweepers.
Yeah. They used to clean it every morning. You know, before. And now I haven't seen them doing it.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why, but they stopped doing that. Was it a couple of years ago? I mean, all other councils have that. Why doesn't Ealing have that?
Yeah, they should do that also. They should like do more regularly, maybe cleaning. They need to put more staff on everywhere around the area. You know, wherever the problem is. Also, they like the road, Berwick Road. I noticed. I don't know if they repaired it for a while back. I've been there. And it was in worse condition, you know, the roundabout where they built the newly built.
When a new housing development,
where the Sunrise Radio is, Rashpal.
Yeah. The road is, you know, the roundabout where there is a big gap there. You know, the anyone can have a bad accident, or there are lots of cars, hard to move around, you know. Lot of the road.
And that's because of the new developments, and people are parking, because, you know, Ronnie talked about this in the last meeting, and it's causing difficulty for large vehicles to get past, particularly at night time.
So there are also
Yeah.
people park on the roads, you know, where there is not anyone responsible to take control of the problems we face. We face on the buses, we face problems. I went back a little while ago on the bus. It was too crowded for me to go, you know, and the bus stopped on the way. Driver stopped on the way, and they changed, and they take a long time to change. You know, the change. It's and sometimes you don't have that much time to, you know, like attend your meeting or something. Where you going?
Which
And,
bus? Which bus route?
It is the 427.
Oh, 427. Yes. What by? They changed the bus stop opposite McDonald's. Is that where?
Yeah, opposite of the McDonald's. Yeah,
Iron Bridge. Yeah.
yeah. And they, you know, I don't like the system here. It's going downwards, and it need controlling and need improving. You know, people, or especially old people, they can't, you know, they having too much stress, I think. Like, and it should be, you know, like better than now it is. It is a 22nd, you know, year going on, and what we are accepting, what will come, you know, and I am just worried about it. We need to get together, all of us. Maybe we can get together on this side, and we can spread the, you know, this link to people. You know, if they can get together, then we can raise our voice together. You know.
Definitely. I mean, I will talk to Joe Bangu. I think there's some mileage to be had in having our own community meetings. Obviously, this is one format, but as we know, we're only reaching out to a small section of the community who have internet access. But I think maybe arranging some face-to-face meetings. But the issue we have, and Arjun, you might have some suggestions, is finding a suitable venue that doesn't cost a lot of money, because obviously, you know, doing a meeting outside of the town hall is great and good, but in the winter time, who wants to stand around for a couple of hours? Not many people are going to want to do that. So it's really finding indoor. Would you say, Rashpal, an indoor venue?
Yeah, indoor would be better for
especially for the elderly. I agree.
People.
Yeah.
Now it's the winter coming also, you know, it's not good for anyone to stand outside, you know.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of off the top of my head is the Dominion, but I'm not sure how
Dominion
much.
Centre. I've tried to book the Dominion Centre before, and it always seems to be an issue.
I think the best thing to do is to go up there personally. Oh, sorry, you can't see me.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is to personally go into the reception desk and ask them
and talk to them directly.
To them and talk to them directly. Because it's a, I think it's part of like a council run.
Yeah,
it's like a council sort of building. So getting any member of staff there is going to be like a crap show. But it's worth asking, going to see if you're lucky, someone's there and asking them.
Yeah, because I think, you know, okay, we probably couldn't do a meeting, you know, more than once a month, but we could do it and see what kind of interest we get and whether we get more people turning up. And I think the power comes from people telling their stories, and those who are willing to be filmed or recorded, to allow that to happen so we can share those stories on social media. And that sort of blows wide open the fact that Ealing Council are absolutely failing this area. Can I just quickly ask, a bit light-hearted, Ealing Council a couple of weeks ago tweeted that all the town centres were going to have Christmas lights. Are there any
No.
lights along King Street, the Green, anything?
No.
Nothing.
I've been down the Green today, been down King Street today.
No
Nothing.
Christmas lights on the lampposts?
No, nothing.
Shameful, isn't it?
No, I haven't even seen it
Very
down
bad.
south of Broadway.
Yeah. Any on Southall Broadway? Christmas lights or seasonal lights.
Hounslow Council have got some going in their part. They've got some I think down the high street now.
I saw some of the videos, like London. They got some nice lightings in London. And
So again, we're neglected, aren't we? And I think people just appreciate just having some lights, to bring some winter cheer, to a season that's very dark and gloomy. I go to Hayes Town Centre. Hayes Town Centre has some fantastic lights and a big tree outside of the NatWest. It's really lovely.
Especially after COVID, and war is going on in Russia, and they should, cheer up, put some nice lighting or to cheer up people, and it would improve their moods. Otherwise, they will. It is not good for the mental health. They will suffer. And,
I think it is very good for mental health just to have something, to look forward to and just to brighten up very dull and dark streets. And I certainly feel like that when I go to Hayes Town Centre and I see the multicoloured twinkling lights on the lamppost and the big Christmas tree. It just adds kind of like some sort of warmth, to the thing.
It just adds. It makes
So basically nothing along King Street, nothing along the Green, nothing along the Broadway.
No.
Shocking and shameful.
And my friend, he starts work who works on the buses. He does the first 482 of the day, which is around about 3:30. He says it's absolutely dead, and he feels like he's in he's driving a bus in like just a pitch black room. He doesn't feel like he's on the street. He actually said to me he actually feels like driving in the dark is not really good for him now.
So much going on, especially on Broadway here. It's very bad. Night times, too much noise. So
and
much.
Thing is, I've got because we got Heathrow. I've got departures going by me from 4 o'clock in the morning, depending on what route they take. And I've complained so many times for noise control.
So what?
Yeah, there is
disturbs you?
that area.
Sorry,
That
I'll be
area
back in a
needs
minute.
attention to, I don't know why they're ignoring people and their issues. They should, do something about it. Otherwise, why they are there? They are for public. They should.
Total waste of time, Rashpal. They don't care.
Yes,
They
Mom.
only care for themselves.
Want a Zoom call?
The wrong people are in public service.
Yes. I thought we were having lasagna.
No. They're not meant.
Okay, let me go back to the notes.
It's too chilly.
Okay.
I don't know whether Arjun can half listen into this. Western Road traffic.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, the issues with the entrance at Costco are the responsibility of London Borough of Hounslow, and they are working on a scheme at Costco to resolve the issues. And I think this relates to what Ronnie said at the last meeting about widening the road where there's a grass verge. Because I have to say, even on a Friday evening, and this is after 7 o'clock, it's still bumper to bumper along Hayes Road, heading up to the junction where you can turn right to enter Tesco. And I need to drop my girls in Hayes Town Centre. We have to allow 25 minutes. Whereas when I go to pick them up, it takes me 10 minutes.
Bad around, when people go to work or come from work, around my where I live in on Broadway, similar things, like people horn, blowing horn, and it's too much, you know, too much stress. Buses, especially standing here and on the south road, and traffic, you know, too much noise, like so much going on. We don't know who to turn to, and we are expressing our views. You know, they are not dealing with our views. So I don't know what else, unless we get together, all of us, and
Yeah.
make the change, you know, which
Yeah,
is
but the thing is how
desperate. Yeah,
Rashpa, can I
desperate.
ask you, Southall Community Alliance, do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
feel that they are representing the community? Because they get a lot of funding,
yeah, yeah.
and you're talking about issues that affect you as a resident. Are they doing anything for you to make your life better?
No, they are not. They even not even asking you. You know, how are you, and what are your issues? You know, I went to their meetings. I think twice I went. Then I didn't go after that. Before they held the, you know, case for the Dominion car park.
Yeah,
I think we have lost it to that one.
really?
Or is it still going on?
I think that's
don't
ended. Are you on about the public inquiry, Rashpal?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ended. That ended, I think. I have to ask. I have to ask around, but that ended long ago. When I
Yeah.
don't remember.
I don't think the outcome. I don't think the outcome has been shared yet. So the
Oh, they
judge
they
is
said
still being-
they said they'll get that
Okay.
done. They'll get that. They said they'll get that done by the end of October. We're a month in. We've got nothing. So
yeah.
Because we
So watch
don't
this
need,
space.
we don't need any tall buildings, you know, taller. Before they all demolished that taller building. Maybe you remember some time back. Because they were saying they are not safe, you know, for the public. And I don't know how come they're building them again, you know, and they are not addressing us, the Southall people. I don't think so.
they just care about themselves, what they
Money.
think is good for them, and
Yeah.
they're in control of our money. So they think, oh, it's good. Well, we can do whatever we want. It
Do you
doesn't
know the
work.
arches? Do you know the arches? Those have been demolished to make way for housing.
The
You know,
one
on
behind the
Merrick
station.
Road.
The one
Yeah,
behind the station. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Anything that's near the
It's all
station.
about Crossrail. Just they want to cram all these developments in a relatively small area
Yeah.
because they think
It's
everybody
already-
is going to hop on Crossrail.
It's already chaos, you know. Southall is in bad condition, and I don't know what we can do. We are doing whatever we can do, you know.
We're trying our
to help.
best. All we can do
Yeah.
is just protest. And protest
Just
and protest
raising
and
our
protest.
voices
Exactly.
until, you know,
We
people
can't stop. I don't think we can stop, you know. And I saw this video once. One person was
listen
dancing
to
on their own. Then another person joined them. And then another person. Before you knew it, a crowd was dancing. But it started with one person. So, you know, we can't give up, you know, as long as we live in Southall. Okay, let me just go quickly back to the notes. London Borough of Ealing Parking Service can confirm. We have dedicated, sorry, we have CEOs. I don't know who CEOs are. Is that community officer? I don't know what CEOs stand for.
Chief
Dedicated to the
Executive
Southall beat on a daily basis. Inconsiderate parking is being enforced when observed. But as we know, away from Southall Broadway, that doesn't seem to be the case. So according to what's been recorded, between the 1st of April and the 31st of October this year, a total of 1,364 PCNs were issued on Southall Broadway. No mention of any other road in Southall.
So,
There was also a joint police operation in place at this specific location on the 4th of November 2022, and there were further patrols that night from 8 AM until 1 AM on Saturday morning. I don't know if that
I
provides
don't-
any
No,
reassurance to
that's-
Rashpal.
I don't see many of them, you know. I live around here. I don't see many of them.
Yeah.
They never come down to Old Southall.
So they've got a long way to go, haven't they?
Angela,
They
we know.
need
Have you
to-
seen them? Have you seen them down
No.
our end? No.
No,
They
not
need
at
to
all.
go everywhere, but this government, I don't know what they are doing.
It's
Yeah.
They
not.
are not doing
Yeah.
what they're supposed to do. And
So they've had
it-
this sort of purge on, but probably it will lapse. And certainly, judging by what Rashpal said, there's still illegal parking, people tooting their horns antisocially,
You know, and the
parking
buses
up on
don't
the
help. Buses don't
pavements.
help.
Yeah,
Buses don't help.
nighttime the car coming with the big, they put
revving
the
engines. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
big noise they're making, and they're going here and there,
So where are
Oh,
the police? Where are
nowhere.
these CEOs doing the
Police,
patrolling? Yeah.
They're ignoring them, they are letting it happen, I don't know how long they're gonna wait like that. And it's gonna, I don't know what it's gonna become. And they are not listening to anybody at the moment. So
They
we
haven't
can-
done for years.
Do you know what it is?
um,
Bus companies don't help us as residents either. They put out buses on the H32 especially, which are really loud. Because we've got the hybrid system, they don't maintain them well enough. So because some buses, we get some hybrid buses on the H32. All we can hear them going down, roaring down like they were like a Formula One racing car.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Really?
some
Yeah.
old ones,
Yeah.
I think.
The
Making a lot
482s
of
are okay. 195, H32, they're all the buses allocated to that are awful. I've sent complaints in, numerous complaints about numerous buses, and nothing's been done.
Hmm.
So-
Rashpal, do you remember we complained about
Yeah.
buses that park on Cambridge Road?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
bus terminus,
they're
and they don't turn their engines off, Arjam.
So
Run that engine.
I've been monitoring Cambridge Road for the past few months. Drivers have been switching their engines off. 95. I've asked 95 drivers to switch their buses off. They've just been argumentative with me, so I don't care about them. I had to go to the back of the bus and turn it off. There's like a little button. It's like
All right, that's brave.
the driver just left it running. And
Yeah.
then I had to go to the back of the emergency, boom, press it, and I reported him, saying,
Good for you.
yeah.
But it's very
because
disconcerting for people who live on that road, such
Yeah.
as people like Rashford, and they're disturbed at all different hours. And it's the
It's
the thing
noise.
is,
It's the
3:30.
pollution.
So Cambridge Road starts getting used by buses from 3:30, and the last one departs is a 482 leaving Cambridge Road at 1:30. The last H32 is at 1:15. The last 95 should be at 1 o'clock.
Mm,
And then so they only get 2 hours apiece until it starts all over again.
it's bad, very bad, isn't it?
But the thing
It's
is, the
better than before.
482 buses are quiet though. You can't
But not-
even hear a 482. I can't even. There might be one coming down my road now. I can't even hear it. There might be a 105 coming down now. I can't hear it.
Is that bus? Is it a hybrid bus?
The 105 is the 482 is diesel.
Diesel.
I don't hear it.
Oh right. Oh okay.
So it's just. It
Yeah.
depends on what type of buses they are for the what H32.
I think they need, maybe they need automated service. I'm just joking.
The thing
Because,
is,
It's quite
Angela,
simple just to
Angela-
switch off an engine, isn't it? I mean,
Angela,
I don't need
TfL
my car idling.
TfL have got notices up on
There's
the
the
bus.
common sense, isn't it? People don't use
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
TfL have actually put out notices to drivers to switch their engines off. It's up to the drivers; they choose to ignore it.
Yeah. But then they should have inspectors, TfL. It's no good saying, oh,
They got rid of them.
we're expanding the not CPZ, sorry, the ULEZ, but at the same time, they've got older buses which are idling, adding to the pollution. And we all know that Southall is a heavily polluted area.
They
And
got
it's
rid
fear
of
not-
them. They got rid of
got
them.
rid of
They
them.
got rid of them to save money.
Fear of the bus
Oh,
drivers
ridiculous.
are rude. I had a word with them. They were rude to me, you know, the other day. And I don't know what else. Then I just ignored them, you know. What else?
Rashpal, what you need to do is take a picture of the bus, which includes the company, the fleet number, and the registration plate, and report it.
They were Indians, and they, you know, they were not like some people came here. You know, they were doing service. They parked their vehicle on the, you know, and where else they gonna they parked on there. They could have parked on little bit back or little bit in the front. You know, the other side.
Can I just ask you what bus route this is that you're speaking about?
It's on the south. This you mentioned earlier. It's the same road.
Yeah, it's Cambridge Road. We've got 3
Yeah.
buses. Which route is it? Is it the H32, 482, or the one 95?
I didn't notice the number, but
Well, so what I advise you to do is just note it and report
Yeah.
it, because that's the only way we're going to get our voices heard about buses, is through TfL. And let's see if you report it at least once through TfL. Let's see if they actually do anything, because all we can do is report through TfL about the bus system.
Yeah, we
They-
did
About the
do,
bus
we,
system.
yeah, but I think we have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And what about, I mean, do you advise also going to the bus company direct?
And I advise, yes, go to Hounslow, go to Hayes, go to Southall, and to Greenford, and Hounslow Heath. So we've got 5. And if you got any operator, and ask for a garage manager, and ask and speak directly to them. And I felt that's necessary in getting my voice heard, especially when I had a couple of issues with a couple of drivers. I went to Hounslow Bus Garage and asked.
They were
Yeah.
Punjabi speaking, you know, my language. One with I don't know if I can talk about them here or not.
Yeah, you can. I think you can.
Yeah, as long as you don't name names.
Yeah, one with turban and one Indian lady with glasses, and they were quite rude to me, you know. And
I think you're on about. I think I know who you're on about. I think
You
they
know?
do the H32. Yeah, I think. So.
they were very rude to the other people. They were doing service, and it is they have to park somewhere as well, you know. In my I'm thinking, and they should compromise with each other, you know. How they should manage it properly, but they creating more problems, you know, and it's not good for anyone, you know. And I don't know what else to say. They should learn their lessons, you know, maybe hard ways. And
Rashpal, what were they what were they saying? That was rude.
I just asked them, you know, just put you know, park your bus a little bit in the front or back, you know. When we have lesson, they teach us like that, you know. Then other drivers can go, you know, through. And they didn't listen to me. One man was standing in the middle of the road, the turban man, and he said, "Why they are parking here? They can't park here. They should go." And a few times they did move their vehicle, but how many times they could? They were putting this scaffolding here, and they supposed to do, you know, service the roof, and that is, I found it bit you know, bad.
Yeah,
And
That should have Cambridge Road should have been closed, because
Yeah.
if that Cambridge Road should have been closed to buses then, because if they had scaffolding now, that lorry must have blocked the whole road, or must have blocked it. It should have been closed. The construction company should have at least alerted the council that they're going to do this and to have it closed. And then this argument,
I don't know
closed.
I don't know the rules and regulations. Just I'm speaking on how I felt, you know. And
just really
ideally, from
inconsiderate.
what Rushpal said, ideally Cambridge Road should have been closed, That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah, yeah.
The kind of
Which road
construction company should have alerted Ealing Council. They could have alerted
Yes.
TFL, and to get and council should-
Alternative terminus on a temporary basis.
because
Yeah.
we have an
Yeah.
alternative. They have there is an alternative terminus on Merrick Road, so
Yeah.
Definitely.
They're not
that.
communicating themselves. So,
Yeah.
I was just trying to help, they were having, like they were heating up a little bit. So I just tried a little bit to calm them down, And
that's all you
I
can
did
do,
not.
Rashpal. That's all you can do. All you
Yeah.
can do is
Just keep
calm the
at it in
situation
terms
down.
of raising awareness and saying, look, this is not acceptable. Can I just
It
quickly move on the conversation? I'm aware of the time. We had another protest on, I think it was it the 29th of October? Oh, sorry, I can't remember the date. Apologies, I'm having brain fog at the moment. But it's to do with 2 incinerators on Balfour Road Industrial Estate, but the
Yes.
access is on Johnson Street. And the pollution from these incinerators is absolutely terrible. And not that many of us turned up, but we had an impact. We had a TV crew turn up and they made a short film. And they included footage of one of the chimneys bellowing out black smoke. And, it's just beyond belief that Ealing Council
ignoring
does nothing to hold these companies accountable and keep saying, oh, well, it's to do with the Environment Agency. The Environment Agency permits these incinerators. But, it's hard to know what to believe because they told a neighbour that these incinerators were too small to be permitted. Can we trust an organisation that says one thing one day and the next day says something completely different?
They're changing their minds all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
It should be one thing, not millions of things. So people
But,
get confused.
Exactly. But the impact on residents is so debilitating. The fumes. I left for work this morning and I could smell a burning smell. And this was at 8:10 in the morning.
I think I know the one you're on about because I could smell it all the way from Durley Road
This morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. The burning.
Like a rubber plastic smell.
Yes. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But it's not just the smell, Arjan. It's what are we inhaling? What particles?
There's a lot of
from
toxic
the
stuff
fumes.
that will, sorry to say this, which will die from, to be honest.
Yeah. Don't apologise. You're talking factually,
Yeah,
It is so harmful to health. There was somebody who said their father coughs a lot, How many children are being diagnosed with asthma?
My
And it's
grandma.
either caused or your grandmother.
Yeah, my
Somebody
grandma.
older, not just children, yeah.
My grandma, 82-year-old elderly person, is intoxicating all these fumes. She's been living in Southall her entire life, or ever since she migrated in from India. So 40, 50 years she's been here. So basically almost her entire life. She's worked hard, done this, she's done this for. This is what today's politicians are doing, just giving this back to her as a way of saying thank you. Here you go, his fumes, you breathe that in.
You breathe it in, and as you say, you die earlier.
Yeah, and I'm concerned about my grandma because she's 82, and she's breathing all this in when she goes out 3 o'clock in the morning. She breathes this out when she goes while she's waiting for a bus.
Yeah.
On the Western Road, she's breathing this in when she's sitting in her garden. She's breathing this in when she's, you never know, she might be breathing this in her sleep. It's that bad and really concerning me. But then she can't even breathe. So it just makes certain times that she can't even breathe.
And you too, Arjan, and your family.
Thankfully, I'm not having trouble breathing, but
maybe later on down the line, the damage shows. It might not show up here and now, but when you're older. And,
and
it makes me angry that these companies are allowed to get away with it.
Yeah.
And there's one called Sam's Recycling, and you should see the workers, Arjun. They're very young people who turn up. I suspect they're probably recent migrants, so they just need to work, you know. Does this company care about their health? You know, and it's just utter greed. And they tell lies. They say, oh, they only burn at a certain time. And that wasn't true, because I drove past the estate a couple of weeks ago, and it was a Saturday morning, and the chimney was belching out black fumes on a Saturday morning.
People covers up too much nowadays, and it should be brought, you know, out whatever's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
it seems like, you know, anything goes really, and because it's Southall.
Do you know what they promised
don't
us?
matter.
These people, these so-called councillors, these so-called MP, this so-called council leader, bunch of, you know, morons they are.
Mhm.
They promised one thing. They promised one thing, but then they do completely the opposite.
They're not interested in us.
No.
Like I went to that meeting.
Amrik, are you in the room?
Yes. I'm here.
Welcome, Amrik. So it's just myself, Arjun, and Rashbol, and Sufyan had to leave early, but please join the conversation.
Yeah, I did smell it this morning, and I'm good. I didn't think they were burning that early, because I had to go to the doctors, and I could smell it straight away as I left the house. But I will make a complaint tonight to Ealing Council.
Yeah.
They
Do you
still
mind me
haven't.
asking what time you smelt it?
I got up about 9 o'clock. Half past
Okay.
9. I left the house to go to the doctors.
Yeah, so
So-
obviously been going for some time, because I smelt it around about 10 past 8. I didn't have time really to sort of have any idea really whether it was any longer than
I kind
that.
of
But
smelt it about 5 minutes after you did, because I left
Yeah.
at 8:15.
Yeah. No, I will email them tonight when I'm at work. That's why I forgot all about you, because I'm working nights tonight and I was trying to get ready. But yeah, I will email them tonight, and they still haven't replied to my last 2 emails about the incinerators. So I'll remind them about that. That's been over 2 months. They haven't replied.
yeah,
they have-
please chase, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be
Because,
chasing them.
you know, almost certainly, you know, you will be affected. You know, the fumes are no respecter of any kind of boundary.
No.
You know, it
No.
spreads far and wide.
And we've got proof that they're burning plastic, because the pictures you sent me last time, I sent them off to them, and I think they had an impact on how they were behaving, because they did slow down a little bit, but I think now they think, oh, it's been a couple of months, let's speed it up again, let's get back to what we were doing normally. So it might be, I know it's hard for people. It's hard for me at times to wake up in the morning. If you smell it, just go around and start filming and seeing what they're burning.
They're up to, yeah, because you know, it's also possible that the same recycling company is burning pallets which are being
Yes.
treated with all sorts of chemicals, and obviously, if you burn the wood, you're releasing those chemicals into the atmosphere, and we are inhaling it.
Yeah, I think it's only supposed to be cardboard they're burning there. But I'll find out. I'll ask the questions tonight.
And
to Ealing
just a
Council.
short throw from there, you've got the Al Noor
Yes.
have an incinerator, and they're burning the offcuts of MDF because they make, I believe, kitchen cabinets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything goes. They're chucking the old plastic bottles. God knows what else goes into their incinerator. That shouldn't. That does.
Yeah.
And the fumes
Yeah.
are terrible. Yeah. So please, you know, we would welcome you chasing your correspondence.
I will. Angela,
None of the councillors, including the leader of the council, have responded.
No,
Any
none of them.
correspondence. Yeah.
Even Ealing Council themselves, they haven't responded. So I'll do that tonight. Angela, did you get a chance to do those questions?
I haven't. That's the next thing. Thank you for reminding me. So as soon as this meeting closes, I will do it. So yeah, but we obviously can't announce anything until Friday. I did see that in
Yes.
email. So obviously we'll abide by what the request is. Yeah. But just to say, Arjan and Rashpal, we should have some good news soon about cash and something that we will be involved with. I can't really say anything more than that at the moment.
It's a small victory. It's a small victory, and it will help us in the future. So it's good.
Oh,
It's
great!
good.
At least that's something to be having a party about, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. But it's it's about standing up and challenging. And what was quite interesting, can I just go back to Southall Community Alliance for a moment? One of my daughters attends Featherstone High School. Okay, both of them do, so I've been corrected. But she's doing a Saturday club, which is run at the University of West London on St Mary's Road in Ealing. So she turned up for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and because obviously it's not round the corner from Southall, I actually dropped her off. And the staff were waiting in the reception for the young people, but also in reception was Jampal Bazran from Southall Community Alliance. And he did look a bit awkward when he saw me arrive, but I don't show ill will to anybody. So I just waved at him and said hello and acknowledged, his presence. But my daughter told me when she returned from the Saturday club that he was there to talk about all the community works that they do, in particular renovating a piece of derelict land near Western Road.
Where precisely?
I don't know exactly. Amric might know, but I believe the entrance is on Western Road. But I just don't know. I don't know where this piece of land is.
I think, is it between two households? There's a little gate. I think I know the one you're on about, because there is this little piece of derelict.
They had some money. That's the play area.
Yeah, the play area.
That's the play area.
Yeah, that's it. On the western road.
They remember, Angela, a few years ago they were talking about they had £10,000 or something from Jasbir Anand, and she said, "Oh, I gave them £10,000 to do this up." Yeah, and we said, "Well, where's our money to do anything with?" And she went quiet. That money was for that play area to be updated and stuff. Yeah. So I'm not sure if they're talking about
weeding
that.
And putting down some polytunnels and I think a compost or something. I don't know, but bringing it back into I think maybe for an allotment or something. I don't know.
Do you guys want
to? I saw the pictures with the Labour candidate.
Yeah.
On the Facebook. Did you saw Angela?
Yes, I did. Yeah. So it's all wonderful, for young people to hear about.
What they've done? What they're doing in the play area since? Actually, they've done absolutely nothing.
Oh, really?
Absolutely zero has been done. Because, as you know, I travel past that play area every 6 days a week. I'm on the bus, just sitting there on the bus. I've seen nobody.
That area is worse also that you're talking about. And they should do something.
They've got the people living next to it have got some sort of greenery that's coming on top of their wall into theirs.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to meet you one day and you can show me where it is, because I have no idea, but I can see it's like I think I
know where it is. I don't remember the road name. I think it's just near the corner of that. I'll show you.
They'll need lots of improvements, and don't know what they're doing.
But I think it's good to do this kind of thing, but also at the same time, Rashpal, you've talked about some very serious issues that are affecting, mental health and well-being and physical health. And
Yeah.
Southall Community Alliance seem to really be only helping a very small sector of the community. And they could do so
They
much
are not
more with the public funding that they receive, in my own humble opinion. So
Yeah,
They're
because what
not
I've
helping.
noticed,
So
Well,
they're not needed. Who is not helping the public? They're not needed, you know. Simple as that. What's
yeah,
your view? In my opinion, we don't need those kinds of people, you know, who's not doing anything at all for the public, especially after they're taking so much tax from people, you know. And what they're doing with it, they are just throwing away, you know, like rubbish everywhere. What you see here around here, you know. And I'm getting stressed sometimes, but then I see, you know, everybody got to care, you know, not only one person can do, you know, so change so much. And people got to, you know, like get together and raise their voices, you know, whatever their issues, you know, come together on one platform. And, you know, at least, you know, whoever is facing, they can solve their issues, you know, if they're not doing much. So people have to raise their own voices to, you know, to reach to them, you know, or do something for themselves, you know, to change
yeah,
their. We can't suffer like this for you know,
yeah. So I mean, obviously, you know, there's anger towards the
much.
Conservative government, but we need to look closer to home and ask the
Yeah,
question, what are
forget-
Labour doing for Southall?
forget what's going on in with Rishi
Westminster.
Sunak and his government.
Yeah,
We need to focus on our town. What
Yeah.
needs to be changed in our town only, because then
Yeah.
we're more of a we're more. This meeting is only about Southall. It's not
Yeah,
about the Houses of Parliament. What the hell's going on in there with that useless government?
yeah,
we start
Focus.
from
We need to focus on one thing, and which is improving our town, our people. If these people don't, if Mason and his crappy council aren't doing it, we will. We need to make the change, because that's the only way.
we need
If-
to keep
yeah,
pushing
to
and
come
showing, actually, they're not doing a good job.
we
You know,
need to
why do I feel Arjan and Rushpool?
do something.
But, you know, I'm happy to walk, you know, to King Street and the Green, but I feel deterred because
Yeah.
of the broken pavements, the
Yup.
fly tipping, yet the council is telling me that I should be cutting down on making car journeys, right? And what frustrates me as well, you get people who say, oh, report it on Love Clean Streets, right?
Yeah, but like last meeting you said, Love
It
Clean Streets
doesn't
doesn't do
work that
anything.
one.
Yeah,
I
and
get
every
to-
minute, you know, I'm stopping. How much time should I be devoting? I still have to reach my destination in a timely way. But where I live, you can be stopping every 2
Yeah.
minutes. to
You
report
can't be
fly
doing
tipping.
all that for, you know, there should be some appointed people, you know, like they are doing, they are improving, you know, everything, like responsible people who making the difference and not just, you know, thinking about themselves.
Hmm.
And people already suffered a lot here. And since I am here, they suffered as well, you know. Like before, they have some other issues as well, and now it is not getting better, and it is getting worse day by day. So I am thinking we must do something to improve our lives, our community, and do whatever we can do, you know, to
Yeah.
make the difference.
Yeah.
At
I'm going
least
to
in
talk to
Southall.
Joe Banggood, and we've got some funding,
Yeah.
got some money in the bank, to see whether we can have face-to-face meeting, maybe draw in more people, you know,
Yeah.
because we've already talked about the fact that digital poverty is a reality in Southall, but
Yeah,
people need to feel that they have the
Voice
opportunity
their
to
opinions.
speak up and share their experiences. And let's face it, this cost of living crisis is going to hit people very hard. Already, you know, people are struggling behind closed doors.
My parents are lucky with this cost of living crisis because we have 2 rentals, so we're lucky with getting money from that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we're lucky. My family are lucky, but what about other families around Southall?
Yeah.
Like,
Struggling to feed their families.
yeah,
Struggling to pay the bills.
But my neighbours are struggling to even get money from the dad doing work. They've got a dog.
Yeah.
They're struggling to look after the dog. They're trying to put money aside for the dog, to get her food, to feed themselves, to pay rent for their house, and the rent is just going up and up and up, and he's not getting enough work. Yeah, and they're stressing that might lose the house because it's not even their house.
It's getting worse for some people, you know, and they are only helping the rich people. What is the point? You know, they don't need the help. They should help more the, you know, who needs it. You know, they should count the people, and who needs it, they should give it to them, you know, deliver to them. And also whoever, even the, you know, like people have a business, they can help whoever need the help, not the very wealthy ones, you know, very rich ones. Some of them don't need it, you know.
Yeah, I agree. That's where the money's going to. It's only going to the wealthy people. It's not going to help the poor. It's the case with Rishi Sunak and his government. The same thing here, and it's the same thing over there. It's not gonna change. We as residents have to make that change.
We need to keep pushing, you know. We need to keep getting out there. And you know, I couldn't just sit back and not speak out about, you know, the incinerators and the gasworks and the asphalt plants over the boundary in the borough of
Just make it
Hillingdon.
worse.
Yeah.
Just make it worse.
Yeah. But so many issues. It's all about injustice and neglecting disadvantaged people. I'm conscious of the time. It's 4 minutes to 9. So can we have any closing comments or
right? I'm just gonna make. I'm gonna make a few more. So, we need what I'm trying to work out is, especially because we have so many residents trying to go to West Middlesex Hospital, we need better transport links from Southall straight there. At the moment, the only straight routes we have is the 120 and the 117 bus routes. Yes, we can get the H22, but that takes quite a long time. So I was speaking to Councillor John Martin, because he mentioned on Twitter about something to do with extending the E5 bus route. Personally, I don't think that's a good idea. Councillor John Martin doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay. I think personally we need to extend the H32. Is scrap extending it from Southall Waterside. To scrap that. We don't need that. We got the 195 to do that for us. We, instead of extending H32 to Southall Waterside, we need to extend it to West Middlesex Hospital, so it follows the same route to the hospital, but goes via Isleworth and then through from Bush Corner and Brentford around the back road into the West Middlesex area. Personally, that will bring some good links into Southall and a direct bus route. And yes, it will endure more running time, but that's something that drivers have to survive with, stick with. They might have to do extra hours to complete the last bus. And yes, the running times will be extra. Or personally,
the hospital needs to be accessible.
Yes, it is accessible.
More and more people are being referred to West Mid rather than Ealing, so there needs to be so preferably one bus route rather than sort of multiple buses to get there. Because if you're not well, that's the last thing you want to do.
The 117 and it needs to be more frequent.
Sure.
From at least from a 10-minute point of view. Or if the H32 cannot be extended, we need to extend the 482, get more buses, extend the 482 from Heathrow Terminal 5 to via Southall, or Southall via West Middlesex Hospital to Heathrow Terminal 5. Yeah, more running time yet again, but it's something that we can do. So
I'll just say your idea about the H32 is something that can work. H32 route is one of the shortest routes in London. It's only the running time is only about 20-25 minutes from Hounslow to Southall. So
it's like with the traffic.
Yeah, it's a route that can be extended. I helped extend the 195 to Brentford many years ago. It used to go to Ealing Hospital.
The Child Lane Estate. Yeah, I remember the route.
And now it goes all the way to Brentford.
Yeah.
So it can be done. It just needs a little bit of push and talking to the right people. And Ealing Council are not the people to talk to. It's the Mayor of London. So if you want anything extended, talk to the Mayor of London. Email him, even though he's a utter twat. The 194 was extended under Boris.
Right.
Boris?
Yeah, I must admit, I have used that service all the way to Brentford, and it is very handy.
I think it's, at the moment, it's
home,
unreliable.
Yeah.
It's unreliable at the moment. That's the thing.
It is because of all the junction problems down Western Road and coming back through Western Road. It's very unreliable. It'll get better if they open that new road up. And again, that's something 3 months now they haven't replied to me. The council or the councillors. So again, that's another one I'll chase up tonight whilst putting up the Christmas trees.
Very quickly, it's an unadopted road, so Ealing Council needs to spend some money. Was it £2 million? And there's back and forth with Berkeley Group, who don't want the road open until the construction works are completed. But as already discussed, it's a long old project, in circa sort of 20 years, from the time it commenced. But please keep pushing, because, we talked about relieving the traffic on Western Road and the Uxbridge Road by opening up that road that links the A312 and then onto the M4 and A4. That would make a major difference, because at times, as you know, Amrik, Western Road is absolute gridlock.
Yes, quite bad,
And there's been times I've just turned around and gone home, I thought, I can't sit in this traffic, and I'm not going anywhere. It makes me think, actually, I need to sort of plan and avoid, key
there should be other plans,
I don't understand why that road is shut, really. They need to get a move on.
Just forget about Berkeley Group, just open it.
Sort the money out, get it
open.
open.
It. Forget about Berkeley Group, just open it.
Yeah, get it open. Get the traffic.
I don't know where they bring their ideas from.
Away from Western Road. That doesn't need to go down Western Road or the Uxbridge Road if they're heading to Hayes and, either sort of northbound or southbound. Yeah.
Another
It should be easier for people to move around, especially the elderly, they are facing so many, they are stressed out, little bit, especially around Southall. Most people are like that. The government is not taking the correct step. So we need to, move our plans further and do something for ourselves and the people with us, support each other.
Most definitely.
For the long term.
I think if we can move towards having a few meetings in person and encourage people to attend who, don't want to meet on Zoom and, don't have the internet access, and I think that will be a good thing to keep raising voices and having new voices added to our voices, that has to be given, that more and more people speak out. Before we end the meeting,
I was going to say a few more things, but
oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, another issue I'm facing is Emerald Square.
Yeah.
The little park in between, it's gone
Oh
worse.
yes, yeah.
I used to take my neighbour's dog Mia. I used to take her out there and I was planning to take her down there, but having a closer look at the site, the Ealing Council said some other group will have to come out and do it as it's not owned and maintained by them. So they've got to get somebody else out to maintain it. We'll get this done at a future date, and you don't need to contact us.
What's the problem with the green area in the middle?
So the fences are all broken. Bins are broken, leaving sharp edges visible. Dogs can easily escape because there's a fence is missing. The children's play area is broken. Some parts of the children's play area don't work or are worn out and need refurbishing. And,
do you know who owns that land? Is it a housing association?
Yes, but I don't remember the name.
Oh, okay.
But it's not owned by the council.
Yeah.
I've got
so to put pressure on whoever owns the land to sort it out.
Yeah, but the thing is, I have to go through. I have to go through the council. You know what they're like.
They are worse than associations also. They're not doing much in people's homes. You know, I heard on the news. Did you heard one boy died with the?
Oh, the mold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other person also died, and they are bad. You know, like they are not doing proper work. You know, everywhere is mess. So I don't know who people have to help themselves, I think. No.
That was absolutely heartbreaking, Ashpal. A 2-year-old boy died. Cardiac arrest. It was brought on by inhaling mold spores in his home.
Yeah, that's
how many people in Southall are experiencing this as well?
Yeah, also they're not care. They're just making the money. That's all they're after, you know. Interested only in the money, not in the people. You know, so many issues they have with every people. You know, I'm noticing around here, and they talk as well. You know, they express their views with me as well. So who do we ask this government, and they are not taking notice. So what else we could do? You know, like we got to do something for ourselves. We got to get together and like raise our voice.
We can't stop raising our voices and highlighting. And in that respect, social media is our friend. Because did anybody see the video after the Southall Community Alliance meeting with Peter Mason? And you were there, Ashpal, and they walked down the disabled.
Yeah, where they walked. Yeah, I saw the video.
Ricky, and they literally sidestepped a homeless man lying on the ground.
Yeah, that's worst thing to do.
You know, that is fact. That's incontrovertible. You know, that they were so callous and disrespectful. Not one of them stopped to ask, "Can I help you? Can I phone StreetLink to come and give you assistance?" Yet the week before, Councillor Anand was guest of honour at their Poverty Week conference inside Southall Town Hall. It's shocking, isn't it?
I heard them talking on Desi Radio as well the other day. People were I heard the last few one, but they agreed with them, and they didn't raise their voices. So I am a bit concerned. You know, they should raise their voices. You know, they should ask what their needs are. You know, otherwise they will ignore. You know, like they are ignoring even people speaking. They're not listening. You know, and I have like some experiences. They're not like I started this year. I started with you guys, and they're not like listening to us. I have noticed myself, and I don't know.
Rashpal, this is just
Right,
this
right,
is
I've
just
got-
a thought, because you mentioned Desi. If we were able to organise a face-to-face meeting, and if I spoke to the owner of Desi, because one of the things that they request is that whoever goes on the radio station needs to be a Punjabi speaker. So as a member of the Southall Matters Forum, would you consider, if it could be arranged and Desi Radio agreed to it, to have us on to talk about our forum and why we meet?
Yes, we
Just a
can
thought.
talk. Yeah, we can talk if
Yeah.
you agree. I don't mind.
I will
Talking,
see,
can
yeah,
raise our voice.
if we can get the meeting arranged, and then I'll speak to the owner and say, can we come on the station? And obviously, Rashpal, you're the Punjabi speaker, and explain why we meet and the issues that motivated us to come together.
I
Yeah,
think
we can talk about it, and we can discuss our issues.
Yeah.
And if they you can plan it, then we can get together some Monday, and we will talk.
Yeah, I think it's worth. So, Arjan, you were
Yeah.
going to say something?
Well, I'm on Instagram at the moment, just going through while I was listening to Rashpal talking. Sorry, I'm not like ignoring you, but Rashpal, what you're saying is true. But I just found this tweet, Instagram post from Ealing Council about. I'll read it out to you. What do you want more of? Cycle routes, bike storage, school streets? Have your say on what transport improvements you want to see for the next 2 years in your borough. We are putting together our major transport proposals, and you can help shape the future. Yeah. So do you want to see new school streets, cycle routes, or bike storage, or an improved services for roads and paths, and many important to you? Give us this views by filling this unknown link to the survey by 4th of December via link in bio.
It's an absolute disgrace, the survey. I just filled it in.
It will not work.
It's very biased towards Ealing Council. Every question is biased towards Ealing Council.
That's why
So-
I don't bother. I don't bother.
Yeah.
I don't really give a crap.
They're deciding with themselves, not asking public, in my view.
And let me tell you guys some of the comments on the Instagram. Right, one person said, none. Leave our roads alone, and sort out the drug problem. More police patrols in the parks and on the street. Oh, and put some decent street lights that light the street before someone falls on it over an uneven pathway in the dark and sues the council for negligence.
Exactly.
Another one, a plan for the pay as you ride cycles that get discarded on the pavement. In many instances, obstructing wheelchairs, pushchairs, and the elderly people.
Yep.
No more cycle lanes, thank you. Perhaps increase the speed of the 607 express bus out of the council's control, that's TfL. Also, some regulation of the parking of the Abelia buses at Ealing Hospital and St. Bernard bus stops. Yet again, can't do that. It's down to Abelia themselves. Sometimes 3 to 4 buses parked there, yes, because there's no drivers and they can't take them back to the garage. So what can they do? They have to abandon the bus there. They can't take it back to the garage, and because there's nowhere else for them to stop. And safer cycling has to be the most important change. Without it, people won't switch. Hashtag climate crisis. And there's one more. Definitely no to cycle lanes that are a menace and end up causing more congestion on the roads. So many people don't agree to the council's
It shouldn't happen.
said transport proposal. And we don't even, there's not even a link in the bio for me to complete the bio survey. So if there's no link, I'm not going to bother.
They need to improve their services, not making Southall. They already, they haven't done much here, so people are just frustrated.
Yes, if the council are not going to do anything, why should the people care?
Yeah, that's the
Exactly,
point.
exactly.
So we need to get together and we need to do something about it.
Exactly, Rajpal.
Because the thing is, you
Exactly.
can't just say, let's encourage more cycling. Yeah, what about the state of the roads? Around where we live, there's so many potholes and uneven road surfaces, which quite frankly
I've
are
got a loose
dangerous.
drain. I've got a loose water drain outside my house, and my mum and my dad, they're driving around. They have to drive over the pipe drain. Imagine if they can't get to work because their tire gets stuck. So
Exactly.
imagine the car, because we got a loan of car. So imagine the damage done to that, and we're going to have to pay a cost on top of the £3,000 we're already paying for the car. For 3 years, that's £1,000 per year.
Yeah,
There is no proper
the work's not
service.
done quickly enough. And do you remember when we had that heavy rain?
Yeah.
Balfour Road was like a lake. I felt sorry for anybody trying to access their
Greenland Crescent.
homes without getting wet feet.
Greenland Crescent,
Chaos.
it almost flooded at one point, and numerous amount of times when we had heavy rain, it almost flooded. Some people had to get their flood bags out, cover that.
Really? My God.
Yeah, because they were that scared it might flood.
They need to manage it
Well, the
properly.
council cleaning the drains, they're clogged with leaves, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. But because I've got one on the tip, on the edge of Greenland Crescent, Emerald Square side. I've got one between houses number 130 and 134. 132 is being my house, so it's right on top of mine. And then I think we got one on the edge of at the end of 148 Greenland Crescent. It's just mad.
It's not healthy for the people, and they need to do something about it to improve it. And I don't know why they're not bothered about it. There should be something,
Yeah.
some solutions.
And not only that, another point that's raised is people are parking in loading only bays because there's nowhere else for them to park. Well, because practically I don't blame them, because the councils are thinking of closing the Dominion car park. Where the hell are we supposed to park otherwise?
Yeah. And what about out of town visitors who come especially to do their shopping on the Green and King Street?
Yeah.
They're not going to carry their big bags of chapati flour by bus and train, are they?
No, because I've got visitors coming down from up north. So they come from, like, let's say Bradford, and they make the effort to come down for a 9-hour car journey with a little baby girl, or not so little anymore, she's 2 now, but she's a year old now, but they all come down all the way from Bradford, all the way up in the north, to come and visit us and go to Southall. And they said Southall's not the same as it was anymore, because because there used to be a lovely shop here that's closed. Where we go to a Poonam Indian sweet shop, it's not the same because Southall's not the same. They all basically, wherever they go, they say we went to this place. It's not the same because Southall's not the same. It just makes me feel like crap living here, and then I think to myself, well, my parents should move us out of here. It's just my parents they're considering moving out because they said it's hard getting in and out of Southall. Someplace more.
It's really sad, isn't it, that people who've made Southall their homes for many years, and your parents are not alone there. There was another member of council who said the same thing, that she's considering moving away. And
my dad
this is what the council wants, just to drive us out of our homes and probably bulldoze homes and build more flats. So excuse me, for this elite who will be using the Elizabeth line to travel to Canary Wharf and won't be doing any shopping or living in South other than sleeping at night.
My dad has been living in this town since the first day he was born. He's never moved out, and he says, "I'm not moving out, no matter what. Southall's my home." And
he sounds like Joe Bangoon.
Yeah,
I think Joe would say the same.
Exactly what Joe said the same thing to me, because he said to me, because on the day of the Verinda Sharma's protest on the 16th of last month, I think it was it last month? Yeah, it was last month. And he's like to me, on the day, I don't want to move. Southall's my home. I might get Labour out and get Ealing Independent
Yeah,
Network. too.
why should we be forced out? Because all they're doing, it's a deliberate policy to run the area down, to neglect it,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
But on that note, can we bring the meeting to a
We need to
close?
get together.
There'll be.
We need to get together and do something about it,
Yeah.
Well, we got to create a group,
So much
a
going on.
Facebook group or something where we can add all the
Yeah,
workers and we'll have a chat on there.
Yeah, we'll get the ball rolling. New year is around the corner. New meetings, new energy, and new plans.
Yeah.
Definitely. I can't guarantee we'll have a meeting next month, but as you know, the link to any forthcoming meeting will always be put on our social media pages. So I wish you good night. Thank you for coming
Thank you very
along.
much.
Thank you for being
Good night,
respectful and
everyone.
sharing your views, your opinions, your knowledge of Southall and what can be done to make it better. And, it is important for us to share this message, these messages. And as you know, we share the recording with the councillors, and we have to counteract their propaganda to portray themselves as engaging effectively
Because
with
you
the
know what
community,
is said
because
on
it is
here,
a big fat lie.
what is said in here
They
is
are
the
not
truth compared to
good
what's
for
being
us.
told by Ealing Council. We're being fed fake lies. We've debunked it through this meeting with us four, Amrit, me, Rashpal and you, and we're all coming together and we're discussing. Right?
Exactly.
This is the truth. This Zoom meeting for the past hour and 20 minutes, 2 hours 20 minutes. This is the truth, and this is what needs to be told. That the council are lying through their teeth. The propaganda has been going on for 15 years.
Yeah.
And they need to stop now because this is going on way too long. Yeah. I don't know how Ealing Labour have gone through how many general elections, maybe 4 or 5. So this is the truth here.
Right. Love you and leave you. I've got to go to work.
We're going to close the meeting.
And if you can send that tonight, and I'll try and send it back to them tonight.
I'll go as well because I've got to have my
all right.
with my
God bless. Take care.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming to the meeting. If we don't meet next month, definitely in January 2023. Take care for now. Okay. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.